No new wars.
First of all, I didn't guarantee no war.
I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
No more wars, no more disruptions. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions, and we will have prosperity and peace for all. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're in the building. It's me. It's my friend Mel. And Mel, can you believe people fell for that banana in the tailpipe?
I unfortunately can believe it. But I am still sometimes surprised at how many people fell for it.
Mel is being very nice. That's her nice way of saying there's a lot of dummies in America. She didn't say that. I said it. And you guys are in the building with the politics of being black with Lamont Tyson. Today, what we're going to cover is a whole lot of Trump messing up. Trump going to MSG because the Knicks are about to go New York go, about to win the NBA playoffs, so he's making people mad there. We've got Jared and Ivanka trying to colonize our island. What did we say in Black Panther? You colonizers. We've got to discuss that. We've got Trump disrespecting the media and the press, which is a horrible problem because the only line of defense we have left against fascist regimes is the press, an honest press. So we've got that. And more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, because I do stocks, I get a lot of people asking me about this AI thing and this IPO that's about to happen. We are going to have a deep dive into that, and I'm going to let you know how you should handle the play. Show starts right now.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that full. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You are in the building with the all-knowing, all-loving, all-feeling, all-seeing, all DEI, all woke, all I'm going to tell you about the IPO, just damn all everything. Sexy as hell host, Lamont Tyson. And look who is joining me, ladies and gentlemen. She's got Skeletor hands covering her chest. It's my homie, Mel. For those that went to see He-Man this weekend. How you doing, Mel?
I'm okay, and Halloween is my favorite holiday, and I was a little sad today, so I put on some Halloween stuff. So I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope the audience enjoys it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to cheer Mel up. And it's hard to cheer up someone when we're living in the kind of environment we live in with the type of president and administration of buffoons that are leading this nation. It's like despair on top of despair. How do you like your sandwich? Full of fucking despair. And we're going to try to make that funny today. If you are finding me for the first time, I am Lamont Tyson. This is the politics of being black. That is my friend Mel. Her link is in the description. What do I do on my channel? I debunk all the societal myths that have been put in place by Mighty Whitey to keep the common folks at bay, meaning the people who are not in the top 5 to 10% richest people, everybody below that. They put myths in place so that you behave a certain way so that they can stay rich and you stay on the throttle or in your religious book, not getting the wealth that they don't want to share. And we debunk that through situations that happen in everyday life, and we discuss them as a group. Mm-hmm. For those of you that want to follow me for Power, that met me because I reviewed Power, I will be reviewing that with the big homie B. Avery. Where is my link for that? The link is right here. This is my channel. And folks, this channel just crossed 22,000 subscribers this weekend. So if you want to watch me for Power, I will be there. And you know I trade stocks every day. Mel. Glad to have you. You look better than what Skeletor did in that movie, because the He-Man movie from this weekend, my childhood, Mel. I actually have this toy with this glass. Mel,
wow, that's hardcore, man.
Ask me how old this glass is.
I'm gonna guess that happened somewhere like around 1985.
Oh my God! Bing, 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 bing! This glass has been with me, and there was a matching Skeletor to go with it. But guess who broke it? My daughter.
Oh,
and everybody knows There was a matching Skeletor to go. This glass has been with me, ladies and gentlemen, for 41 years. 41 years. And they finally made a new He-Man movie. And folks,
I heard
only one act was good. The last act in the post-credit, but the rest of the movie, it was just not made for this era. And so now I'm glad you came up here with Skeletor hands, because those hands are actually doing a better job than what Skeletor did. But I know the audience came here for the politics. Come for the politics, but stick around for the sidebar jokes and talk.
Word.
Let's talk about someone who's trying to be a colonizer, who's trying to be Epstein number 2, and that is Ivanka and Jared. So, Mel, if you didn't hear, they're trying to take over an island strategically in between a body of water and 2 land masses that need commerce transported, especially oil. The people, the land they're trying to take over is pretty much supposed to be a sanctuary area where there's natural wildlife that has been there since the inception of this planet.
Right.
And they have commandeered this land and have decided that they want to take it over. What have Black people, minorities, and everyone complained about with Anglo-Saxons? They want to colonize any damn thing that they get their hands on. So, Mel, here's the story, and then we'll get your opinion and we'll break it down.
That Jared and Ivanka are on camera all week long talking about building their own island that they discovered. When we have this famous island that everybody's been obsessed with, both from QAnon, now the global stage. I mean, Prince Andrew's lost being a prince over this damn island. And Jared and Ivanka are on camera talking about now building their own island. It's very large in scale. It's like $1.5 billion. Albania is losing their mind over it because this is protected part of their country where wildlife is able to flourish. And this is the message right here, Democrats. This is what we need to do all day, every day. Pop this up. The new Epstein, it is a mocked up Time magazine cover. The new Epstein, and this is none other than the son-in-law of Donald Trump, Jared Kushner, who is married to Ivanka Trump. Ivanka Trump, who stood in a tent with her daddy while all the violent insurrectionists marched to the Capitol and wanted to hang Mike Pence. Ivanka Trump, who likes to get on Instagram and talk about, here's my reading list. And what I do to get centered in my life is I like to be authentic with my husband while we build our own private island. These people are grifters. They are parasites. They are sucking off of 250 years of established United States of America for their own personal enrichment, because they're spoiled brats that would never make it. They would never get hired on their own merits. They would never have these kind of bank accounts.
Yeah.
Mel, the floor is yours. I'll give this lob to you in this manner. It's unfortunate that they are able to do this, but what makes it more unfortunate is the amount of people that turned a blind eye and are okay with them doing it, but would not under any circumstance be okay if me and you did it, if Barack Obama did it. It should be fairness across the board. Floor is yours, Mel.
First of all, trying to follow up that woman, what didn't she say? Like, what wasn't true about everything she said? I think I would like to keep my threads of distinction and discernment clear. Like, I want to know if this is somehow a government program. What does Jared Kushner have to do with it? Why is it Ivanka and Jared? What are the ties? I'm very much about following the money in a forensic sense. Nothing's a mystery once you're able to locate where the cash is flowing to and from. Like, that's pretty easy. Where my heart really breaks is for the people of Albania who have been going crazy protesting. For people who don't know, the protests have been really significant. And I was thinking, Lamont, to your point, I was thinking, like, what if somebody just came to the United States of America from another country and was like, we want to buy Long Island and it's ours now. And I'm like, it's just so, and that's someone's going to inevitably point out something smart, which is Long Island's long been occupied. But the point is, when you hear this language a lot and we discovered something, you haven't discovered anything. Why are you even using that language? Just be honest about buying it because you have a lot of money and you're allowed to.
Well, the thing is, they can't buy it. They're trying to commandeer it. And when you talk about Jared, his official title with the administration, he's like the negotiator for Trump illegally. And the first Trump administration, he was kind of doing the same gig and made all this backdoor money that people didn't really kind of question or look at because of how filthy Trump was. Mm-hmm. But the people who aren't doing a lot of talking, that they don't have the microscope on, is him and Ivanka, who are causing all kinds of financial damage to other people to enrich themselves. Yeah. And the bottom line to this island, it sits in between two corridors that need transport. And all they're trying to do is capitalize on that shit. This island would be a place where people could dock for a little bit, maybe refill ships, maybe put some, build some other stuff to put on this island. And it's probably going to be a hideout for them to do illegal things similar to what Epstein was doing, which is why the Times Magazine pointed out the new Epstein, because no one would be able to govern the place but the people who own it. Now, the fight comes into this with the Albanians. They don't want them to have this island. No. And these two are acting as though they can get the island because their dad is going to support them. And we are supposedly the strongest military in the country. I mean, in the world, excuse me. And we're big and bad enough to just say we're going to commandeer and do it. That's where the motivation from all this comes from. Of course, it's a place of money. Folks, I'm okay. Nobody's about to arrest me, people. It's just a pass by.
That
was just a pass by, okay?
That was just a little New York City for you all. Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah. And it's the Knicks games tonight, folks. The Knicks are playing, so you're going to hear some noise here.
Oh, I'm so happy. I don't live anywhere near there.
Exactly. Good for you. So, folks, at the end of the day, how does this play into minorities, Black people? Simple as this. The rules are not the same. The rules are just not the same. First of all, Black people would not be trying to go colonize nobody else's island because, hell, we know what it feels like to see someone else colonized, speaking of Native Americans, natives to this land, and then we've got to be the ones to fix up the land as slaves. Yeah. That's wrong, number one. Number two, why should these two individuals who legitimately are Nepo babies be privileged to take somebody else's island that they have designated as a wildlife refuge, which we don't have enough of those left anyway, to just make money? It affects us all when we start killing off wildlife for the benefit of someone who doesn't need an island. They can go build an island somewhere else. There are man-made islands being built all around the world. Why you got to go and mess with these people's island? Because of the money, ladies and gentlemen. Floor is yours, Mel.
I just really want the audience to hear you again when you were pointing out, like, these are very, very powerful, wealthy people now looking to have their own party island where they're also exempt from any law. And of course, criminal activity is going to happen. That's why they can do either drug running or espionage or sex trafficking, which I want to be clear when I use the language of sex trafficking, we have been sold a certain image about what that looks like. And that affects children, babies who are born into that, who are recruited for that, people who do survive that as adults. This happens on a large scale when people with that level of power get to continue to manipulate those levers. And if you, there's really nothing good that can come of it. I haven't seen billionaires yet say, I'm going to get an island so I can do my philanthropic work. The people doing philanthropic work aren't necessarily engaged in just really trying to get their own island.
Right. And because I happen to know two billionaires, I'm not going to say their names. They might have an attitude with me, but I'm not going to say exactly what they do. I'm going to just say this. It's wrong that our system of taxes allow billionaires to write off yachts, luxury yachts.
That's right.
And when they buy these big mega luxury yachts, ladies and gentlemen, They go out to international waters, and guess what? There are no laws on those waters and what happens on those yachts.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that.
That's right. Yeah.
Post your comments. Let us know what you think. Mel's link is in the description. We will move on to the next subject, which is the daddy of Ivanka and Jared, Trump. And we're going to talk about how he has just been so disrespectful to the news media, how he lies, and how his base are not intelligent enough to know the difference between a journalist and an entertainment organization that doesn't verify facts, doesn't check facts. And you get to see how a petulant child behaves when they are confronted with facts. This is Trump Mel over the weekend being confronted with facts. And let me tell you, he threw a tantrum that would make my son, who is 2 years old, be put to shame. And
really
my son throws big tantrums, okay? Let me tell you something. That little Negro will throw a tantrum that looks like a tornado. Nothing. Trump's tantrum, my son's tantrum, pales in comparison. Folks, take a look at this.
Election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But Mr. President,
you know why I got that? Because you have no credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about, I want to talk about Todd
You
Blanche.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about
elections in this country, we're like a third world country. Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked networks. Right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President.
All right, what's the...
He calls her darling, disrespect. He says that the news media is crooked. Now, folks, mind you, Fox News folks don't know that CBS is being run by Barry Wise, and that's being run by Larry, the guy that owns Oracle, who is a Trump supporter. Larry and David Ellison are Trump supporters. And then he has the audacity to talk about how it's been proven that these elections aren't frauds or whatever. Nothing has been proven. Your ass is the president. So if it's a fraud, are you saying that you're fraudulently in there, you dumbass? Is that what you're saying, Trump? Floor is yours, Mel. I can't with these people, Mel. I just can't. I can't. Floor is yours. I can't.
I think I felt the same way. First of all, I'm actually grateful that it went this terribly and that he continues to unravel so publicly. And anybody who's had any familiarity with dementia in their family or people who are close to them recognize a lot of the behaviors and attitudes and belligerences. He was already belligerent as a human, and how that can increase. But it was all on display. It was like the sexism towards those, he's always on top of the female reporters that way, being confronted with facts and not being able to handle it. And I'm really quite tired also of people always excusing him. Like, well, that's just how he talks. I don't care. He's the president of the United States. He should not, no one should be speaking that way. That is not a party issue. This is a degradation of politics. And I'm happy. I think people are really starting to see just how clearly deranged he is and how he can't even keep his own story and facts straight sometimes.
So, folks, how does this relate to the plight of minorities, Black people, male, me, and everybody else? It's simple as this. I always go back to the fundamental problem for why we're dealing with Trump. He's a cancer, but there's a bigger symptom and issues that lead to the cancer, and that's the way you take care of your body. What is the body we're talking about? The American people. Yeah. The issue here is still the American people. Mel, he's got the lowest ratings of a president that we've ever seen. Yeah. But here's the problem. It's still too high. 29% of Americans still standing by this MFer. And he's up here acting like this. The dude took his mic off and stepped on it, Mel. I mean, is this Elmo throwing a Christmas tantrum?
I also think it's horrific when he was in Wisconsin at the time, and how rural areas have been so horrifically affected by his policies. And for him to go there and to behave this way, there is nothing presidential, but it does, again, display a flagrant inequality. You get to do that. We always have to watch our P's and Q's. That's always been the story.
Flagrant. And so, folks, post your comments. Let us know what you think about that. Clearly, this man is unhinged. Clearly, he's wrong. Clearly, the people that continue to stand behind him don't give a damn about their fellow American citizens. They never have. They pretended they did. They never will. Their most important thing is hate is better than having food on my plate. That's how that last 29% feel. And we'll kind of go back to a new segment I have on my channel, Mel, called Karen's Gone Wild.
Oh.
Now, let me show you a Karen. And I wonder if you know who this Karen is.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Who's this Karen? Oh, so name this Karen, Mel.
Is this Barry Weiss?
It's Barry Weiss. And for those of you that don't know Barry Weiss, she's the CEO of CBS. She's gay. And I add that to the story because it adds to the hypocrisy of the story.
Yep, the layers.
And CBS is now ran by the people that own Oracle, Larry and David Ellison, who are starch MAGA Republicans at that. Rich MAGA Republicans, top 1% rich. Yeah. They lied and they covered things up and they threw a tantrum, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And the biggest lie that they did was trying to cover up what was going on in Minnesota when Mrs. Good died. And here is a seasoned, and when I say seasoned, I mean Larry seasoned on the stake, both sides. Yeah. Journalist Scott Pelley, who quit because they kept trying to get him to orchestrate lies. Mel, take a look at this. This is a real hero, ladies and gentlemen. This is a real journalist, a real hero who stood up to the machine and is now talking and is not afraid to speak. Listen to this.
Barry Weiss sends an email to my boss, Tanya Simon. Two of the things in the email include, can we make the protesters look more violent? Now, I'm paraphrasing. I don't have the quote, but that's what was communicated to me. And the other thing was Renee Good's car. You need to describe her as driving toward the officer. This is not what you see on the video.
Mel, floor is yours. We all saw the video, but this is what I continue to say is the problem. It's the people that support this type of behavior blindly because they saw the same video we saw. Okay. They saw it, but somehow or another in their mind, they're able to do monkey double backflips and they're able to do the best paraplegic Olympics in their mind to get it to fit a narrative that they didn't see what they saw. Yeah. The floor is yours. He came out and told you how they tried to spin the media, which is what Trump said everybody else is doing. So floor is yours, Mel.
Yeah, I think that's a really, first of all, I can only imagine the pain that not only the Goods family, but anybody who's been caught up in this time and has been maligned and belittled in their humanity, that's already demonstrative of emotional and possibly cognitive unwellness. Like, do you understand how the world works and how we should be treating one another? That's kind of basics.
Right. Basics.
But what I think people really need to know is, like, in order to reach people who are still doing like the just mental gymnastics and are like, no, like Daddy Trump told us, like, that's an emotional response. Some of this is that this is so difficult for people to admit either being wrong or to have, because if you admit wrong to this, you have to question the domino effect of logic has to follow through. And so a lot of what we're seeing aren't just dumb people, right? Well, the way we can flippantly say, oh, these dumb fuckers, which is a way to be angry. And sometimes you need to offload that. But the truth is, people who are not emotionally resilient. They're not strong. So it's going to be easier to collapse under the weight of that fragility and choose to believe something that you know in your being does not sit right. That's
well said. Don't y'all like how male sweetness balances out my sour? Don't y'all like that? You know, it's like a strong cocktail. Like a strong cocktail or some shit, ladies and gentlemen. You want to come get drunk and you need it sweet and sour, you can get it right here with us, because she balances out. She said all that nice stuff about them. And at the end of the day, she's right about how you get them to start coming on board. But also at the end of the day, their behavior and their choices and who they pick is still hurting everybody.
It's harmed so many people. It's not an exoneration of behavior or decision making. It really isn't.
Right. It isn't. And it's pathetic. Now, how does that land home with us, ladies and gentlemen? It hurts minorities. It hurts women. It hurts us. It makes Barry look crazy. It makes the bargain that there's supposed to be ethics and truth in media collapse. Yeah. Everything Black people have said is a thing for us, and white people would always tell us we don't know what we're talking about. We would call Black people, we call it dog whistle speak, and they would tell us we're crazy. You're hearing it right here on Front Street. This Scott Pelley just told you what they're back there negotiating. They're fudging things to make it look better for the president than what it really is. And shouts out to that family. You know, shouts out to all the families that suffered in Minnesota, by the way, because we feel you and we're doing our part to, if we don't do anything, raise our voice to let people know we're not going to go down fight. We're not going to go down in the night without a fight.
No.
We're not going to let fascism continue to try to take over, because what Barry Wise was doing, what Scott Pelley just highlighted, is fascism. You sequester the media. You make the media do what you wanted to do, and then we become Russia.
Yeah.
And how's that working out in Russia? Y'all let us know.
I'm getting a lot of North Korean dear leader vibes when people talk about Trump, that kind of cult figure. And what people need to know, especially when it's like, how does this affect communities? When you lack empathy, or you keep your empathy at bay because you're so uncomfortable with it, that you can other someone, as in an obvious way, as in Renee Good, you can harm anyone, including yourself, which is why we see that paradox of, don't they see who they're voting for? They can't. They can't handle it. So that's something that's a real psychological effect. Sad.
Right. And Mel, that's a great point. I was going to move on, but you just made a great way for me to kind of trampoline myself back into the fight. What Mel is highlighting is let's just think of anything that you feel strongly about in your day-to-day life. Let's just say you get into a fight with your wife. You know, let's just say we do the most common thing that a lot of men and women fight over. Which way to put the toilet paper, or leaving the seat up or putting it down. You feel strongly your whole damn life, man, that you should leave that seat up because you've been peeing standing upright your whole damn life. Now you're with this woman and you don't know why she can't walk in the bathroom face forward. For some reason, she goes in there backwards, sits her ass down, plops into the water because you don't put the toilet seat down. What are you going to do? Are you going to continue to fight this woman and fight what you've been doing for like however old your ass is, 50, 60 years old? Or are you going to bite the bullet and say, you know what, for the good of this household, how much energy does it take for me to just flip it up, put it back down? And this is on the most simple level, right, of someone who will resist doing this. Yes. Imagine when this thing gets to the level of religion, politics, and your way of life. And you start feeling that gut, that feeling in your gut Mel was talking about, that the shit you've been told is wrong. Your whole outlook of the world has to change. And not a lot of people are ready for that to happen.
Their identity has to change.
Has to change, yeah. So folks, let us know what you think. What is it that you need to change in your own life, ladies and gentlemen? What is the thing that you're fighting that you know is hurting you, that you need to change? For me, I I've already told someone what it is I need to do better. And I think they're working with me, and we're going to see how it goes. So, I'm an open guy. I speak freely and I'm open. So we'll see how it goes. All right, Mel. Here comes the segment that is going to bore the hell out of people, but it's so important, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's do it.
Let me get to it. Here we go, folks. Y'all's favorite male that thinks he's smart, Elon Musk, and the IPO bubble. Ladies and gentlemen, I am about to break this thing down because a lot of y'all are thinking about jumping into this IPO mess that is about to happen. And folks, make no mistake, it's a bubble. And let me give you a couple of reasons why it's a bubble before we go to the video that supports what I'm saying. There are rules when these initial public offerings, basically a stock is up for you to trade when it comes on. That's what IPO is. There's a rule that people who invested privately and have shares before it becomes an IPO have to stay on board, in some cases 3 months. I think the smallest case I've seen is 30 days. So that there's not a pump and dump situation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Trump administration has cut that shit down to like 10 to 15 fucking days. Okay? Because what all of us smart folks know, especially those who trade stocks like I do, folks in the financial industry, they know the economy is being propped up artificially by tech. And even in that sphere, it's about 10 tech companies. They are passing around this same huge pot of money. Yeah. And sooner or later, a couple of these companies are going to get caught without a musical chair. And to better explain that, folks, I got my big homie, Andrew Jink. Please go subscribe to his channel. This dude has, I think, 3.2 million subscribers. Phenomenal financial guy. He can get a little wordy. And when he does, you can come to me to get me to break it down in the kind of hood jargon or the trailer park jargon or the street jargon you need, because I'm a chameleon and I can speak them all. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is what's going on with the AI bubble. Buckle up, and anything he says, I'll break it down a little deeper so that you understand. Here we go.
That's because on May 1st, the NASDAQ introduced something called the fast entry rule, which cuts the waiting period for a company to be included in an index from 3 months to just 15 trading days. And what it also does is it gets rid of something called the float requirement that would have disqualified SpaceX, for example, from being included. The rule change will also force index funds to artificially inflate how much of the company they'll have to buy. So they need to move fast. They need to pump up the value as high as possible and get as many people to buy it. So let me just give you an easy example of how they're pumping this, and then we'll get into the specifics. But imagine I lend you $100, right? And then you use that $100 to buy a Pokemon card. That card goes up in value $1,000. I then get to write down on my tax return that I made $900 in profit, even though I never sold anything, even though that $900 exists only on paper. And then I use that paper profit to justify lending you another $5,000 to buy even more cards. Right? That is roughly a simple way of explaining what's happening between all these tech companies. So what you actually have is a system where big tech invests into AI startups. The AI startups then use that money to rent computing power back from big tech. Big tech books the investment gains as profit and then uses that profit to justify spending even more. The money is mostly going in a circle. Earnings bubbles are much harder to see coming. What's the difference? In a normal bubble, the stock price goes up while the earnings of the company stays flat. So the price to earnings ratio goes up really fast with no correlation to its earnings. But an earnings bubble, like this one might be, it's that the earnings themselves that are inflated, right? The price to earnings ratio can still stay low and look reasonable, and that's because it's that E, right? The earnings number. That's what's being artificially propped up, which is exactly what could be happening with that accounting trick we talked about. Right? The paper gains from Anthropic investments are inflating the earnings of Google and Amazon, and it's making their PE ratios look healthier than they might actually be. And history has a very clear track record with earnings bubbles. It happened with home builders before 2008. Their PE ratios looked reasonable right up until the moment they didn't. It happened with banks before the financial crisis. Perfectly healthy earnings numbers. Right until the earnings themselves were shown to be built on assets that were worth a fraction of what they were being carried at on the books.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the kind of bubble we're getting ready to have. An earnings bubble that is artificially inflated and a circle jerk. A circle jerk where there's not going to be enough hands to go around to pull all the jerks. That's the problem we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. A full-fledged circle jerk. And when it comes to earnings, PE ratio, folks, is just basically a number that tells you the value of a stock. It's the price to earnings. What makes stocks go up? Good earnings and profits. And they're going to be artificially inflated because the normal rules that are put in place to give time to see if these companies are really making money. Well, you saw in the beginning of the video, Trump done cut that shit. He done cut that down to like 15. Oh my God, this is about to be ugly. Lord have mercy. Folks, I'm going to give the floor to Mayo because if she has any questions, I'm going to answer them. Then I'll come back with my rebuttal. This is going to be a mess. This is going to be like the financial crisis that we saw with the housing meltdown when those assets were bad. We could see that. The way people look at this is you can't see it because it's a paper inflated earnings bubble. Floor is yours, Mel.
I think this is a really clear case of domestic financial terrorism.
100%.
This kind of behavior is really only possible because the vast majority of people in the United States don't have stocks, don't have education around it. So the laws this is what happens. And then it becomes the playground of the wealthy to continue to make money. And it's kind of shocking to the level of math. Like, thank goodness Lamont is here and able to break that down, because that math looks like dark magic to me. It is so almost secretive and quiet, like you manipulate just the right parts. And it's incredibly dangerous what we're seeing. We don't know the AI bubble is not stable economically. And I think that pretending it is deeply problematic. And that's what this is. It's like pretending, but you can, because most of the people, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? Fucking nothing right now. Like, like we don't have a choice. This is the discomfort and the rage is because we're feeling the compression of these dynamics of oppression and the manipulation of our own finances. And it's like watching a slow car crash that you're like, some of us get and some of us are like, but it looks bad. You know what I mean? That's how I see it.
The couple of things you can do and how this relates to Black people and minorities is you always hear people talking about we need to get financial literacy. Yeah. And when I get these little simple blanket sentences like that, the shit really drives me crazy. Yeah. Financial literacy on what? Writing a check, balancing a checkbook, debit card. No, we need to get more granular. We need to get detailed. People need to know how stocks, bonds, treasuries work. This should be in school, but the rich people do not want it in school because they want you to be sucking on their milk teat because it is so complex. You hear these numbers and you just get brain fog and you stop. Yeah. There are people I know who have MBAs that don't get the knowledge that I've gotten because I put myself in these corners with these white dudes who are crooks, technically, but on paper, they look like great businessmen. And they taught me so many tricks of the trade of how to manipulate taxes, how to dot I's, cross T's, and do exactly what they're doing with this right here. Yeah. And how to use credit to avoid paying taxes. Yeah. And so this affects everybody, not just simply because it's Trump, but it affects everybody because a lot of people are about to go and blow money thinking that SpaceX is about to go to the moon. And something that Andrew didn't mention, SpaceX is not just SpaceX. Elon Musk has Twitter up in there, which is losing money. He's got Starlink up in there. He's got another company up in there, and then he's got another company. And so if you just look at Starlink and SpaceX, they look like they're doing great. But the overall profits of the company is losing $1 billion a month. It's losing. And the way you get people hyped for an IPO is you tell a good story.
Yeah.
And this happens every time new technology comes out, whether it's been the internet, whether it has been Microsoft. The people who jump on board and invest first are the ones left holding the bag, and new people have to come in and pick the bag back up to push technology. So my advice to everybody is find someone like me who knows this stuff, pick their brain, and more importantly, instead of putting your money into the IPO, what's going to wind up happening, this shit is going to crash. And you want to be where money is going to go up. And that place is called treasury bonds. And if you need to know how to get a treasury, all you do is go to treasuries.gov. Get yourself a 6 month, a year, a 2 year. I would get one until Trump leaves office. Because Republicans do the same behavior every time. They fuck up the economy. Then Democrats got to come fix it, put rules back in place. And while all that's happening, stocks go topsy-turvy. Everybody goes into bonds, which is going to press up your rates. And with the guy that Trump has just put, Kevin Wersch, who he wants to make rates artificially low, it is going to do nothing but it's going to do nothing but expand it. And you're going to have other countries, they might start deciding, look, my T-bills that I own with the United States, I might call them, which is going to help you make money if you're in bonds. So my advice would be find someone who knows this stuff as well as I do, talk to them. And if you feel like you've got the itch to put money somewhere, put it in a treasury bond at treasuries.gov, ladies and gentlemen. Go for that. Last subject we got for you all tonight. I tried to end with comedians and something comical, but folks, this one's not comical. God, the person telling the story is very funny. It's my boy Godfrey. Please support this brother. He goes on tour. Link is in the description. He's touring somewhere near you, so go check him out. But there's this trend going on, Mel. This trend in China where they're taking black dolls that they call Natasha, and they're just doing all these painful things to the doll. Mel, I can't make this stuff up. My question is, why did you have to pick a black doll? And why are you doing painful things? Here's the story, Mel. Let's take a look. I can't make this stuff up, y'all.
Not sure if you guys have heard of the Natasha doll. The Natasha doll are these black baby dolls in China where they abuse them. They beat the shit out of them, beat them up, do whatever, stomp them on the ground. It's black baby dolls. China, which is mainly full of Chinese people. That's the headquarters for where they make Chinese people. All of a sudden, they just have this obsession with being to black people. This is another reason why I say black people, we don't have any friends. We have no friends all around the world, whether you're African, Afro, Latino, black, it don't matter. We don't have friends around the world at all. You understand? We don't. I mean, listen, there are little groups of people, of course, that hang out, that are friends. I'm talking about macrocosmically as a whole. People, we run in people's minds rent free, especially when it comes to negativity. And this is China, where most of the Chinese are copying black culture all day long. They pop locking, they doing this, they DJing hip hop, all kinds of shit, braiding their hair, all kinds of shit. But then they go, you know what? Let's degrade black people by getting a black doll. And they said that because everyone's asking, why aren't the dolls white? Because we see the white dolls as human. The black ones, we don't. So f you, China, for that. F you, all the way up your ass for that. And of course, it's not all of China because this is the internet. And you know what I mean? A lot of times they like to skew a lot of perspectives. China is huge. So obviously not every Chinese person is doing that. So I just want to make that clear. But the fact that they even have that. Anytime it's either blackface, picking any, these motherfuckers just have to, I think people wake up in these towns where no black people are and go, I want to talk about today. I want to make fun of black people today. And at the same time, you see these kids at a Beyonce concert though. Real weird, sick shit. I call it negrophilophobia. Negrophilophobia it's a nice little medical term. Negrophilophobia is the love and hate of black people at the same time. So it's a real strange cerebral dichotomy that fucks with people. I hate you, but I love you. I hate you. I hate you. I love you. I hate you. I love you. I hate you. I love you constantly. That's a sickness. It should be in the DSM in psychology.
Wow, Mel, I'm gonna tell you what gets on my nerve. Anytime somebody tries to depict black people in a negative light, why the hell must they make them look like Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z? Stop this shit, okay? Stop making us look like Mr. Popo, okay? Stop it. I don't know. We do not look like Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z. Golly, China. And look, you already had a famous Natasha you could have went and beat up. If you want to beat up a real fighting Natasha, go get Natasha Romanoff from the Avengers, you fuckers. Like, stop it. You could have got her, but no, you chose to turn us all into Mr. Popos. That's what you chose to turn us into. And we did not get to start in Dragon Ball Z at that. So, Mel, when you see this type of behavior, what does it make you think? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Got us looking like Mr. Popo.
Jesus Christ, you just
I'm gonna put them back on the screen for your enjoyment.
You just blew my mind. This is a 7-layer cake of garbage. Okay, so when I start to think when I'm seeing this, because this is the first time, folks, I don't know about this trend. Okay, this is just horrific. Different cultures are not going to necessarily understand what racism is in the way we digest that term here in the United States and the way we're talking about it.
That's true. Yeah. Nothing
I have to say is by any means to excuse behavior. I am trying to give you what I see, what's happening on a larger cross-cultural sense.
Does that include him? Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
No, that does not include that trash. And by the way, I think it's trash. The reason I'm bringing that up is because when I hear someone, a person of color, where obviously I am too, say like, we don't have friends around the world, I'm very careful because I know where I do have friends. We have also, no one race of people monopolizes dehumanizing or depicting in dehumanizing ways one another. So I don't want to make this like a competition. Every culture has done this to one another. Like, this is a thing. The fact that it could be happening at the scale where it's actually produced, what disturbs me the most is the production, the money that finances this kind of behavior, which is clearly to me destructive, possibly psychopathic for some of those individuals. And when they admit that they don't use it, for some of the people who have gone for it to even have the conversation, to admitting the fact that they don't see black dolls as human, though in contrast to white ones, well, they're telling the story of how black people around the world have been depicted as inhuman. So this is the vestiges of that kind of trash being worked out, particularly in a country where they don't have the same conversations around our nuanced race stuff. So this is just an example of it. And I'm really disturbed. I mean, I'm just flabbergasted. And the fact that they're babies, that the dolls are babies, is on top of it another level of horror, And so, by the way, and I know I'm going to wrap it up because I'm like all over the place, but the reason I'm saying like people have been doing this to one another for a long time, amongst the reason you see black people in particular, and I'm a white adjacent, I'm much more white adjacent as an Afro-Latina. Like, I'm aware of the privileges I have in being a lighter skinned embodiment compared to some of my family members who are darker. I see the discrimination. Black bodies have been amongst some of the most commodified, objectified, and dehumanized in the way we are seeing in that video. So even though there are shared histories here, this is the propagation of what black bodies have been through that continues to happen in horrific ways, not just in this shit that we just discovered, but in the medical industry where black bodies aren't even treated the same way. So this is deeply disturbing because of the history behind it and the capitalism. The fact that this is content, this is a sickness in people. That's my take on that.
Well said, Mel. And how does that relate to Black people in America? Mel hit it on the head. It just continues to perpetuate the dehumanization of dark skin. Period. All those babies was looking like Mr. fucking Popo, Dragon Ball Z. That's what they was looking like. And like she said, they was babies at that. They was stretching them. They was pouring boiling hot water on those babies. Why are we doing that? I mean, if I sit down with my daughter and she sees this video, I have to explain it to her. Not like I don't want to, because I sit down with my kids and I explain to them the things going on in the world, why they are and whatnot. But there are parents where your children don't want to see that, shouldn't see that. And I've seen it come up in YouTube shorts. And it makes me upset that there have been videos where I have told the hard, cold truth about the Trump administration, and YouTube said, nope, you can't put it up. Yeah. But you can put this bull job up. Yeah. And look, I mean, his ass look like you pour hot water on him, fucking coffee's going to come out of his mouth.
Oh my God.
Like, are you serious? You can post that? For real? Come on.
Well, you can do, I mean, I see that kind of injustice happening all over the algorithm. You know, I just really want people to know that this is real. And you don't have to hear it from, don't listen to me or Lamont. Go on Google and you will get books about how Black skin, dark bodies have been seen as less human, not able to feel pain the same way, which is bullshit, which is why Black women in the United States of America to this day can't get pain medication or treatment the same way. And a host of other issues. I would really want for people to not only speak out against anything like this, which I know most will. This isn't normal human behavior. Most humans don't behave or desire this. This is a very disturbing segment that should be, I think, just left that content. We don't want to propagate the views on that content. We shouldn't, yes, we have to educate, but we also have to find ways to snuff it out, because I don't want to perpetuate that. I mean, there's money going on behind that they're earning. Right. That's like dark web shit, or what used to be in the 90s, dark web shit. Like now it's just fucking TikTok. Sorry.
Exactly. Exactly. It's rough, man. It's rough. And so, folks, we're going to probably call it quits on that. There's a big New York Knicks game going on tonight. I've got the Knicks sweeping. Mel doesn't look like she's too thrilled because her favorite president in the history of presidencies is going to be in New York, Donald J. Trump. And the question is, Mel, are you going to go see him and help support changing his diaper, or maybe help support putting on some new orange makeup on this man? What are you going to do tonight to spend your time in New York?
I mean, I just really want to echo Nicki Minaj when she said that Donald Trump was the most handsome president. Yes, I mean, I feel his presence in a way that puts me a tingle. I mean, I'm just so thrilled. I don't even think I could dom that man. I'd be like, unless I could beat some sense into him. No.
Yeah, that you probably had to do some electrolysis type stuff with him. Put some electric needles on his nipples or something, then hit him on the ass or something. Boom. Every time a shot come through, you might have, maybe you could shock the racism out of his ass.
Lamont's talking like he's had some experience, folks. That was a very specific scenario you were setting up there.
Oh, see, what had happened was, folks, I watched too much TV as a child.
What happened was,
I'm a script writer, and I have to think creatively, and oftentimes I let my mind go adrift in places it should not go because I'm scared to go there. And with that, folks, we're going to get out of here. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. Mel's link is down in the video description. We'll make sure we have her come back. Show her some love, though. And until that next Sex is Hell video, we're out.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.